And testing the mic. Seventh heaven. Hello and welcome to For Heaven's Sake, a Seventh Heaven podcast. We are your co-hosts, Lady J.
And T.
T, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well, surprisingly.
Okay.
I don't know why that's so surprising. I'm fine. Everything's fine, guys. I promise.
It's all good.
I feel like it would be a disservice to this episode of our podcast.
Okay.
If we didn't just dive in.
Oh, okay.
Shocking no one.
No.
This is episode 914, titled First Date. It should be noted that this aired the week right before Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Whatever that means. Other than just, I guess, because it's 9/14 and 14s tend to be like Valentine's-y in the past. So the Amazon Prime spoilie is the Camdens interfere with Ruthie's first date. Okay. And the DVD description is really funny, actually. It's only pizza and a movie, but it's Ruthie's first date with a boy. And while the family is thrilled for her, they're also convinced that she's about to be stood up. I have so many problems with this episode. Ooh, hot takes. Right?
Yeah.
Amazing. What a departure for the show. But before I get into my well-documented thoughts and opinions, I really want to pitch it to you because I'm sure you have yours, and I'm interested. So expound, please.
I'm just glad I'm not part of the Camden family. I'm glad I don't have a family like the Camden family, where I have this many people in my life and trying to dictate who's going to give me a ride on my first date. Yeah. No, just happy. Thankful for that.
I wanted to talk about that, actually. You touched on the sort of the very thing that stood out to me, particularly, which is that I don't know what this is like either.
Yeah.
Like, you have an older brother.
Yeah.
But he's, like, what we talked about this, 4 years older than you?
Yeah.
So not, like, super significantly older than you.
No.
And I'm the oldest in my family, so I don't have any sort of relationship that I can look to or whatever where I'm like, oh yeah, somebody who's like older than me and like looking out for me or whatever, you know? And I found it very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Putting myself in Ruthie's shoes of like how micromanaged she is in this episode.
Yeah. Not only by her siblings, but also her brother-in-law.
Yeah. Oh God. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
On that bullshit.
Yeah. And fuck you, Mac. Also.
Well, okay. I could write a fucking thesis on the conversation that Martin and Mac have with each other.
Yeah. Same.
I almost feel like we should just save that for the end
Okay.
or something. I don't know. I don't even know how to begin this episode because it's so... Okay, we can say this. It sort of picks up right where the last one left off, right? Where Ruthie and Martin get grounded. So, you know, Eric says to her, like, we'll put the hold on you dating for now until, until further notice or whatever. So it's been a couple of weeks, so I guess further notice is here.
Yeah.
And so she's like, you know, I've been taking care of the twins. I've been cleaning around the house. I've been doing all my chores and my homework and my grades are all straight A's and stuff. So like, has it been enough time? And they're like, okay, fine, you can go. And Annie's like, of course, like being all sappy and she's about to cry and shit. Yeah. And then Eric's just like, oh, can we just like not let her grow up? Like, that whole thing of just like, oh, where did time go? And Annie's the one who has to be like, dude, get over it. She's older than any of your other daughters when they started dating.
Thank you.
She's sufficiently mature. She's ready for this. Like it's her first date. Like let it happen. It was gonna happen any way or whatever. Sometime, I should say. So it's like, it's happening. We should also mention that the 2-minute scene after the credits for this episode is just like Eric and Annie being like lame at the kitchen table. Like basically. He's doing bills and she's reading a magazine or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the lamer 2-minute scenes for sure. I keep calling them the 2-minute scenes. It's more like a minute to a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And really it's the minute to a minute and a half silent scene, which is what makes it special. So then she goes to school, right? And she's like, she runs up to Vincent and she's like, okay, so like I can date. And he's like, cool. And she's like, okay, well, you haven't asked me.
Yeah.
Which also bugged me though. I don't know how you felt about it, but I was just like, really, Ruthie, you're going to play this game now? Like he has to formally ask you to go on a date. Like you guys have already kissed and talked about it. Like, where is this coming from?
Well, I mean, I can see that. I hear what you're saying. Like you're already past that, but why not? It's just still cute. Let him ask her.
It's cute, but if he's not going to do it of his own volition, for her to be like, you haven't formally asked me. Like, ew. What is this, the 50s? You know? I don't know. It's a bit weird. And funnily enough, too, like Annie and Lucy, or rather Annie, I guess, touches on it near the end.
Yeah.
Where they're talking about how, like, it's so different now, the dating scene, you know, like all these group dates and stuff.
Yeah.
And Annie says, like, maybe the old fashioned way is sort of the best way. On the other hand, my daughter's out with a boy right now.
Yeah.
You know? Like, which, you know, I get. But I don't know. So like that just kind of bugged me a little bit. Like not enough to like make me throw my pen down or anything, but I was like, oh, like why is she being so weird about this? Like I could see Lucy being that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it just felt a little like incongruous coming out of Ruthie's mouth a little bit. I don't know.
Okay.
That's just me. I'll own it.
But then she did the happy dance.
She did, and he spied her from behind her, like from around the corner or whatever, which was also cute. And like he smiled. Like they're obviously like really cute. And while he didn't seem to be like particularly into her at first necessarily, I guess that was more just because he felt threatened and like backed into a corner about the whole church thing. And he seems to be really into it, and she's obviously really into it.
Yeah.
So then though all hell breaks loose because now Ruthie's going on this date, and so of course the entire fucking Camden household has to get involved. From like Eric to Matt, who's back again, by the way.
Yeah. For
a guy who made such a big stink about how he's in medical school and can't just be coming home whenever he wants, he sure is home a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and I love how they keep finding creative ways to explain why. Like in this one, it's because
the tens.
Yeah, he's learning some new technique that his professor suggested he go learn in Glen Oak.
Yeah.
You know, that pinnacle of medical education that is Glen Oak.
Was Hank also conducting that study for him or doing those exams? I don't know.
I know. Why not just make it about Hank? If nothing else, why not go like, oh yeah, I got like a weekly or a week-long internship with Hank or something. Like, make it more believable than like Glen Oak is some like hotbed of medical learning.
Where the fuck is Glen Oak?
It's in a snow globe, T. We've talked about this.
I will never let it go. I refuse.
Yeah.
Especially when they tell me, you know, getting on the 5, landing in LAX and blah, blah, blah. Where is this place?
They make it so specific.
Yeah.
And then they leave it all vague. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know where they live.
It's so stupid.
I don't know where they live. I don't understand.
It's just not worth our time anymore. So, yeah. So I don't even, oh my God, there's so much. Like, every single man in this episode and in Ruthie's life seems to have an opinion and want to be involved in her first date, including the twins, which like, get the fuck out of here, 5-year-old babies. Like, what the fuck is your deal? Where'd you get these delusions, man?
Yeah. Oh, maybe we should go on her date. Let's wear suits and everything.
I mean, it was cute.
Yeah.
Because they're like, she always includes us. Why isn't she including us in this? Because they don't get it or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're like, we're going, right? Like, it's happening.
Picking out their own clothes.
Their wrinkled ties.
Yep. And also, you know, eavesdropping on Ruthie's conversation with Vincent.
which then they blame on her. Oh my God, it was so clutch. Where she looks at them and they're like, don't look at us. We learned spying from you.
Yeah, which was so good.
That was great. That was a great little moment. But yeah, I mean, like, Eric's doing his whole dad thing, which is like, I don't want her to go, but like, I'm trying to like, you know, loosen the reins or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Matt, I think to Matt's credit, he has the most like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like latitude here, where he is so much older than Ruthie, and her big brother, and obviously we've seen and we know that she and Matt have like a really special, awesome relationship. Yeah. Like they have trust in each other and they get along, and he particularly, like, unlike his other sisters or whatever, is very sort of like understanding and like gets Ruthie on a level, you know, like they have this like copacetic thing with each other, you know. So for him to be sort of adamant and like want to be the one to drive her and like be like more involved, you know, than anyone else or whatever, like I kind of get it. And I think initially it's coming from a cute place of like, you know, like I want, like, it's settled. It's gonna be me, guys. Like, chill. You know, like we get this. You know?
When he basically like raises his arms, like, yes, victory is mine.
I know. I love that. I loved how much he was pushing for it, and then when they were like, okay, you can take her, he's like, yeah, I won. You know, like it was sweet. I thought that was cute. I didn't appreciate Martin's insistence that he be the one to drive them because he quote unquote set them up. It's like, if anyone set Ruthie up, it was Ruthie, okay? She fucking orchestrated the shit out of all of this. Yeah. Let's not forget that for 1 second.
Dude, she's a mastermind.
She really is.
CIA has nothing on her.
And that's what bugs me. It's like, people, you have raised this girl. You've seen her in action for the last 15 years. What part of you thinks that she's going to be like that she's gonna go get pregnant, like, you know what I mean? Because that's like Kevin's whole thing. Like the whole time he's like, oh, I don't know, boys. And it's like, okay. And then, oh my God, I'm like, here I go, standing on my soapbox, pull it out, let's go. This is the problem. This is the problem that we have today. We don't talk to boys like this when they're going on their first date. We don't say to them, it's not you I trust, it's her. We don't say that to boys ever. Yeah. We say that to girls. And whether or not, you know, it's bad or good to say that, like it instills a complex in girls, I think. Yeah. And then on the reverse of that, instills that the contrasting complex in boys, which is that they need to throw their dicks around because that's what they're supposed to do or whatever, and girls are supposed to be wary all the time, and then those girls and boys grow up to be 20-year-old or 30-year-old women and men who have like major fucking like weird ass ideas, okay, about relationships and dating and life, not to mention what it is that we're breeding in our society, which is like this like total double standard in behavioral, you know, whatever and shit. But like when Kevin said that, that's what made me drop my pen. When he's like, it's not you I don't trust, it's him. I'm like, really, Kevin? Really? You? Why am I surprised? Why am I fucking surprised? Kevin's a dick. God. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now. For now.
For now.
I don't know. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking.
Well, no, I hear you. I don't. Yeah, because again, like you said, what kind of thoughts or ideas are we putting into these kids' minds? Like you're telling Ruthie, who's about to go on her date, who's
her first date,
and she's super excited. And wait, how old is Vincent? Is he 16?
I think they're the same age because she says he's in my class. Yes, she does. He's a boy in my class. Remember, like last episode or whatever.
But isn't Ruthie 14?
Well, they keep saying she's 15. I don't know.
Oh, whatever. Okay. So this kid drives then.
Oh, that's a good point. Right? I guess you can get a permit at 15.
No, the boy has his license.
Oh, you're right.
He has his license.
Damn it.
I think he might be 16 and Ruthie is 14, probably. 15.
I really genuinely believe Ruthie's 15 because I feel like they kept saying that. But then you're right. He must be at least 16 if
Right.
he's driving.
Mm-hmm.
But I also distinctly remember her saying that he's a boy in her class. So maybe he has like a late birthday or something. I mean, that happens sometimes, you know?
Okay. Anyways. But yeah, this girl is excited for her first date and everyone is telling her, I trust you. I don't trust the boys. That's already just like putting some fear in her brain right there. Just telling her, be weary of what you're going to do.
Everything.
Why?
I know.
Why?
Like, why? And
Why
then-
can't it be just a little innocent?
or that, but also too, like, and then the pressure that Annie and Lucy are putting on her, like, don't you want to look nice? This is a big moment for you. And Ruthie's like, by putting all this effort and energy into how I look and blah, 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 it's making it a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah.
Like, I get it's my quote unquote first date or whatever, but like, really, he's just a guy I like and we're going to go get pizza and a movie.
Yeah.
And she, remember when he called her? And she's like, I insist that we go Dutch.
Yeah.
She's like, and Vincent's like, okay, but like, it's our date. Like, I've been saving for this, whatever. She's like,
Yeah.
I get it. Me too.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. We'll split this. Like, I'm cool. Like, you
Yeah.
know? Like, Ruthie is just like, obviously she's excited, you know, but she's also like not a ditzy moron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like the most downest chick there is.
Yeah.
And people are trying to like make her into, or make this whole thing into something it's not, you know?
Yeah.
And then thereby instilling a complex in her, I think. I mean, she does such a good job of like staying above it, you know? Mm-hmm. And then that moment when she comes down the stairs and she's like dressed in the outfit that they wanted her to wear. She let
kind
Matt,
of, right? Because like they picked another. Oh yeah, you're right. Because they picked another outfit. It was like a khaki skirt with a white top and that pink like juicy looking
that
jacket.
was like the first thing.
Yeah. And then they kept looking.
But
yeah.
after everything is said and done, she comes downstairs. Everyone's like patiently waiting in the living room, right? And she's like, listen, dudes, I wore the shit you wanted me to wear. I let Matt do that whole bullshit pick him up so he can pick me up thing. I'm agreeing to all your terms, okay? I'm letting myself be chaperone instead of just doing this. Just the two of us, like, why not? I've done this before.
Yeah.
I've agreed to all your terms. Can I just, for the love of God, be alone in this living room when he shows up?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, God bless her for that. Like, I feel like that is her sort of finding this way to appease her family because she knows there's no way around that. They're going to be involved no matter what. And yet still declaring some autonomy in this situation. Or not just autonomy, but like some sort of like of herself, you know, like whatever that is, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think Ruthie nailed this episode, if I'm being honest. This is definitely her episode. Like, she crushes it.
She's cute. She's a cutie. I like how she rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even when all the shit hits the fan and everyone's falling apart because they think he's standing her up, she remains cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, part of that is because she doesn't know what's going on or whatever, but also like when he calls her and says what he says, and then later Matt's like, they're in the hospital. She just smiles. She's like, okay, dude, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? She like lets it go because she knows. She knows what's up.
I love it when
genius.
I think at this point, Vincent and his parents had come into to their home in the foyer. And I think
In the last episode?
No, in this episode, like right before they're about to go
that's
on.
right, because they bring him to the...
Yeah. So I think at that moment, wasn't it that Matt calls and she's like, oh, I think you should go to the hospital?
Yeah. I'll get Dad to take me.
Yeah. It's so good.
It's great.
I loved it. I like how she's calling him out on it, but in the best way, because when she sees him, she's like, you're like the best big brother.
I know.
Like, she's not pissed. Like, he was just trying to save her from...
I know. And they all were in their own right. I understand.
Poor Matt, though. Like, he was stuck like, I don't know what's happening. Matt. No one's calling him. No one's giving him a heads up.
I love that Matt like stands his ground. He's not going to leave that house until Vincent shows back up with his parents so he can give him a piece of his mind.
Exactly. Oh yeah, and with that neighbor coming in,
that
like,
neighbor is such a fucking nosy, Nick.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is your deal?
And then whenever he said the pharmacist, I'm like, oh yeah, but they went to go buy condoms.
That's right. I had totally forgotten that too, and I was like, well, that explains it.
And when Peter also got Ruthie her first pads or tampons, I can't remember.
Also, first mention of Peter since the season started. Like, they brought him up again because Ruthie tries to be like, okay, it's not like I haven't had pizza in a movie before, and they're like, Peter's different. You were never alone with him, and it's like, let's not kid ourselves that Peter was not her first boyfriend. You
Seriously.
guys. They kissed, they held hands, he called her honey. Like, that was very much her first boyfriend. It was just in a slightly more innocent context, I'll allow. Like, I'll give the show that, or rather the Camdens that much. Like, it was a more innocent context. You know, this is like a date day where he's picking her up.
Yep.
And there's expectations and things or whatever.
So cute.
It is cute. And I, more than anything, I just want Ruthie to be happy, man. Like, I want her to just revel in all of that fun glory. And instead her family's giving her a fucking hard time about everything. And it's like, God damn it.
They just love her. I'm kidding.
Okay, yeah, but they love her. But then there's a line, man. There's a line between loving, but then letting her have her experience. Yeah. You know, versus fucking micromanaging it to its nth degree. You know?
I doesn't like Ruthie also pop into, oh yeah, she does. She pops her head into Lucy and Kevin's room. I'm going on a date tonight. And like,
okay, let's play that scene, because even Lucy in this moment gets my credit to her.
I should have a talk with her.
What kind of talk?
You know what kind of talk?
No.
The talk.
But about sex?
Yes, about sex.
And why would you be the one to have that talk with my sister?
I got a girl pregnant in high school.
Except she wasn't pregnant.
That's hardly the point.
Well, still, that doesn't qualify you to talk to Ruthie about sex. I mean, besides, Mom and Dad have talked to Ruthie about sex for years.
This is different. Now there's an actual opportunity to have sex. And besides, for you, I don't think your parents did too well in the talk. Simon, for example.
I think the cop in you and the brother-in-law in you are overreacting.
Then you should have a talk with her.
No one needs to talk to Ruthie.
One of us should talk to her, and whoever does should hold the baby. That will really get the point across.
Ew.
Yeah.
Like, every word out of his mouth just digs his hole deeper.
I know.
Like, where does he get off? And even when he does give her that talk, and then Ruthie comes back upstairs and like intimates as much to Annie and Lucy.
Yeah.
And Annie's like, what gave him the right to do that?
Yeah.
Like, even Annie's incredulous. Like, because it's insane that he thinks that this is his position.
But the only thing that I will credit Kevin is when he thinks she's getting stood up. He's like, no one's like stands up like Ruthie. Nope, no one does this to Ruthie.
Where does this guy live?
Yeah. No one does it to Ruthie. I was like, oh, okay, you gain a point.
When they all think that she's getting stood up and they all sort of like band together to figure out what they're gonna do or whatever, that moment is fun. Like, it's a cute moment of them all obviously being so misinformed, but also like banding together to be like, what are we gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
But then they also lie to Ruthie, which is kind of fucked up too.
Yeah, to make it think that like what, she can't handle it?
Right.
Like she can.
Like, okay, because either way her heart gets broken, right? Like if he's gonna stand her up, right, and she's not gonna go on this first date that's now been built up beyond belief in her mind, okay? If that's gonna happen, she's gonna get her heart broken. If they lie and they say that it's because they had to rush to the hospital because his dad was having heart problems, she's still not going on this first date that's been built up beyond belief, so her heart's broken. Like, what's the point in lying to her?
Yeah.
Like, if she's not going to go on this date, it's going to suck. She'll get over it, though, because she's Ruthie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if there's a very good reason for why it didn't happen, like his dad being in the hospital or whatever, she'll get over it.
Yeah.
Faster and move on. Or if it's that he actually did stand her up, then she'll know how to handle that, because she's not going to be fazed by some fly-by-night Dumbo who clearly didn't want her that bad anyway. You know what I mean? We've seen that to be who Ruthie is. Like, why are we all of a sudden pretending she's this delicate flower who can't handle anything? Like, you know what I mean?
Seriously.
She's like, and she says as much to Kevin when he's like, blah, 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 you know? And she's like, okay, first of all, I'm never going to make out in public. Like, I'm not Lucy.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and then secondly, like, whatever, dude, it's just fucking pizza and a movie. So then, anyway, so they finally go on this date, right? And they're at the movies, and I love how they're sitting even. Like, it's so cute. Like, they're obviously, like, canoodled up or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, she's kind of, like, leaning against his shoulder a little bit, you know? And he, like, turns to her. Before we talk about this, though, I need to mention how insane is it the number of times these people have been to the movies and are just like talking and throwing things,
yeah.
and then some usher will come and disrupt everyone else's movie going.
Exactly.
Like this keeps every time there's a movie going moment in this show, it inevitably ends up getting disrupted by some usher with a light.
Yeah.
Kicking someone out.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
In life?
Yeah.
I've seen it happen once because there was some people talking. I think we've talked about, I don't know if we talked about it on mic, but I went to the movies. It was pretty empty theater, but there was like maybe 20 people or whatever. And there was like 2 rows in front of me. There was 2 people over here and then 2 people over there. And these 2 people could not shut up. And these 2 people were like, shh, like stop talking. And then they were like, you don't shush me. And then they started getting into it about shutting the fuck up.
Yeah.
To the point where then that guy leaves to go get somebody to come and get these 2 out of there.
Damn.
Meanwhile, the movie's going on. Anyway,
You're like, can we pause the movie?
I know,
like you're yelling to the
seriously.
guy in the back, just pause
Seriously.
it.
Like,
until we
and I
get
always
back.
sit in the back row too, in the right, like underneath the projector. I'm always tempted when that kind of shit happens to like knock and go pause for a second, real quick. Just pause, and let this drama pass.
Man.
Anyway, so they're sitting there, and he turns to her. He's like, "So, like, I really want to kiss you, but I don't know." And she's like, "Okay, yeah, do it quick." And then we pan over to all of the men, including the twins, sitting 5 rows back, throwing popcorn at them.
Yeah,
like that's your daughter, dude. Eric, what are you doing?
Okay, here's the. So my reaction when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's funny. Like for a quick second, I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's interesting. I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. Within like a breath of it, I was like, oh no.
It genuinely like hurt me.
Yeah, well, because in real life, if that shit happened,
like,
I'm not talking to my dad for a month.
I mean, yeah, it's fucking insane. Like they dragged the twins out, and the twins are like asleep and shit. It's what are we doing? Like take a look at yourself in this moment right now. Are you proud of yourself?
Martin, Matt, Eric, Kevin, and the twins. Yeah.
7 men sitting behind Ruthie, throwing popcorn at her. Like,
and Rose back.
Yeah. Hitting like, other people and shit.
I'm like, nobody in that middle said, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
Nothing.
No.
Just dead extras all throughout this movie theater. Unfazed when the light comes flashing. Unfazed when the usher at the top of his registers tells them to leave. Like,
it would have been funny if someone in between, like, Ruthie and Vincent and the boys in the back, someone turned around and like throws their popcorn at them, just like the entire bucket. Like, stop it!
They would fucking deserve it.
Yeah, they had it coming.
Yeah, they really did.
Usher, don't ruin their first date.
I know. I mean, that part was like cheesy and stupid, but yeah, it was just like infuriating. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Wait a minute. Why the fuck does the usher know it's their first date now when I think about it?
Because it's Glen Oak. The usher probably knows everyone's name in that movie theater.
Where is this town? Where is this portal? How do you get there?
It's Narnia.
I don't understand.
Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe was really written about Glen Oak, but they had to change the names for rights purposes.
Oh, I love it.
But then Ruthie does like one final like act of like, you know, declaring herself when they come home, and she flips the porch light off,
dude,
so she can say goodbye to him.
So good. I was like, yes,
I love it. And Matt, of course, catches her or whatever, but he doesn't stop it, you know?
Yeah, when he sees it, and he's like, you're really into kissing.
And she's like, whatever, man, I can't help it. Like,
yeah. Oh no, she says, I'm a Camden.
Oh, that's right.
She says, I'm a Camden.
And he can't say shit to that.
Yeah, he's like, damn it.
I know. So then it gets really, this is where my heart soared for Ruthie, because she goes upstairs, she says goodnight to her parents, whatever. They're like, did you have a good time? mind you, Eric somehow made it to bed and got all comfortable before she got home or something.
Yeah.
So they're like, did you have a good time on your first date? And she's like, yeah, I made it through. Like being like super nonchalant, right? And then when Eric's like, what does that mean? And he's like, it means she doesn't want us to know how much of a good time she had. Obviously, like be a girl, you know? So then she goes upstairs and she like puts her radio on and starts like dancing along and like just like in like reveling in the joy of the moment, which is what she should have been doing all fucking along, you know, but they like deprived her of that for some reason. But she still had a great time, I guess. And then he calls.
I know, he didn't wait.
He calls.
Yeah, he calls her when she gets home.
Oh my, like I started crying. Because she says to Matt downstairs, she's like, now it's just the dreaded waiting ritual or whatever for him to call, and then he calls. So cute.
It is cute.
It's really, really sweet.
All those little things are nice, and then everything else is bleh.
I know. So let's talk about some of the funny moments. So one, Kevin is giving Ruthie his little talk or whatever.
Yeah.
Then Ruthie kind of like, she's trying to like wrap it up or whatever.
Yeah.
And thanks for this sensitive, informative talk. But are you sure it's Vincent you don't trust? Or are you just afraid that I have the same genetic makeup as Lucy the makeout queen?
Okay, Lucy and I made out on the first date because it was love at first sight, and she was over 18 and so was I. You were referring to Lucy and me, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, totally.
So good.
It's great.
She really is the makeout queen.
I know that scene with her and Annie upstairs, like exchanging stories of their pasts. I loved it.
Yes,
it
same.
was so much fun to watch. Did you catch Big Lips?
Yeah, it was like horrible kisser. I was like, what? I was like, really? I thought you were having a good time. Okay.
I thought she was into it, but then who is it? Okay, whose brothers did she make out with? Both of them?
Robbie's.
That's right. And
at some point she couldn't remember, right?
And she goes, oh, he was a good kisser. And Ruthie's like, which one? She's like, both of them.
So good.
So good. And then Annie gets like all lost in her reverie of like her youth when there's 3 guys fighting over her.
Dude.
I know.
Yeah, Annie.
Annie could get it, y'all. Like she was, for all accounts, or by all accounts, like a hottie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes, well, of course, you know, they're no friends anymore.
She's like, I played a part in that. What were their names? Like Sam and Hal, and I don't know.
So, yeah, some weirdo, like some weird trio of names.
Yeah,
or
I was
whatever.
like, that's easy.
But yeah, that was a really fun little moment between the two of, or I guess all 3 of them, but really it was Annie and Lucy sort of like exchanging moments, you know, of like memories. And then Kevin walks in. And he's like, hey, make out queen.
And she looks at Ruthie like, girl, what'd you do?
And Ruthie's like, I was just reminding Kevin how much you loved making out with him when you guys were first together.
Yeah, when you first met. She goes, oh.
Right, that.
I like it that Kevin doesn't know. I like that.
I do too.
Only because
I like that he has that moment of insecurity about it.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
I just like it that it's not her secret. I don't want to say that, but like, there's not a naughtiness. I want to find the right word, but it's almost like that little twinkle in her eye of like, yep, that happened.
I mean, she had her time. You know what I mean?
It's just, like, I like it. Whatever, man.
I do too. So, and then which leads us to the other sort of thing that happens, I guess, is the conversation that Annie and Lucy have in the baby's nursery or whatever. It's pretty like, I don't want to say intense. I think intense is the wrong word, but it's like a real moment between the two of them. Do you know what I'm talking about? We can play it.
Yeah.
Turned out well for me.
It did. But you are just out of college and married and have a baby.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
You think I should have waited?
Oh, no. I just pictured my daughters getting out and spending some time being single, working, living on their own. Well, each girl's different. I just think that Ruthie will probably be the one who will want to wait a while before she gets married.
Because she's more secure, confident, independent?
Yes.
No. Your choices are not wrong. They're the right choices for you. I just see Ruthie choosing another way.
Some people spend their entire lives searching for the right person to spend the rest of their life with, to start a family with. I consider myself lucky to have found that person so soon and was able to start a family with him now. And don't forget that you also married young and started a family right away.
I realize that.
Do you have any regrets?
Of course not.
Are you sure? Because you seem pretty hot on the idea of Ruthie doing things differently.
I'm very sure that I have no regrets.
It was just a question.
Really, I wasn't commenting on your choices.
I mean, these two are like fierce mama bears in this moment. I think it's it's not the first time, but it's certainly one of the few times that they're at odds with each other.
Yeah.
Even that's a little harsh, I think.
I know. It's just
that they're not on the same page in this topic, I guess.
Yeah, definitely not. But at the same time, it's I don't know. It's like, Lucy, your choices are great. They worked for you. It was the path for you.
Right.
It worked out well for you. Not everyone gets that. And that's okay. And some people don't meet the person that they're supposed to be with, maybe.
Well, but
like right away.
But I think that's the problem with this discussion they're having, because Annie's point is not that, or I'll say it the other way around, and it will help me say it better. Lucy's whole thing is like, how lucky am I that I found the person I want to spend the rest of my life with and start a family with at 22 or 21 or whatever.
Yeah.
How lucky am I? I love that. I started my family young, but why not? I found him. I'm ready. Right. Yeah. But that's not Annie's point at all.
Yeah.
Annie's point is not that she made a wrong choice doing all this early.
I know.
It's just that some people do it early and some people don't.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. And she seems to think, and I would agree, that Ruthie is one of those ones who's not going to do it at 20 like Lucy did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nothing wrong with that at all.
That and like, so like they're sort of arguing different points. You know what I mean? Like, like Annie's just sort of making an observation about how her daughters are different, and then Lucy takes it all personal.
That's
and
all
like,
it is.
It's like, oh, are you saying I fucked up my life? Like, no, I'm just saying you're different from Ruthie. Like, what?
But again, I don't understand what that conversation was for.
Yeah.
What was the purpose?
Well,
why? To show what like different options like a girl's life can be? I don't understand.
I think so. I think in Seventh Heaven, or BH's sort of misguided attempt to illustrate why Ruthie going on her first date is like, you know, this like moment or whatever, and how it's going to set up her trajectory or whatever.
Yeah, but you just showed a character that is in like, I don't know, you just revealed her insecurities in that moment.
Who's?
Lucy's.
Oh.
Because she was very insecure with what Annie said.
That's true. That is a good point.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Lucy's like protestations makes it feel like she's having doubts or regrets or whatever.
Not even doubts, or she felt offended of what Annie said. Mm-hmm. She made it. Lucy feels like Annie is judging her choices. Why would Annie judge her choices? And why is Lucy going to think that? Right. Why are you making, like, why is this conversation happening? Which won't happen again.
Astute observations, T. Very astute.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, important conversation. Save that topic for somewhere else that might grow into something. Don't just leave it there.
You're right. Oh, you're so right. You're so right.
That's what I didn't like. I'm like, oh, that just kind of made me feel icky. Like, I can totally see Ruthie not going down the path of what, like, Mary and Lucy have. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing wrong if she did or if she didn't. Like, whatever, bro.
And the idea that Lucy says, because she's like, you know, some people spend their whole lives looking for a partner to spend their life with. But also, too, Lucy, you forget that some people don't.
Yeah.
Some people just live their lives not looking for anything and just living. How about? You know what I mean? Like, again, I feel like she, like, you, I mean, you said it perfectly. I really don't feel the need to repeat myself or whatever, but like, it's a weird moment that didn't need to happen in this episode.
Yeah.
if it was gonna lead to something or mean something in the relationship of these two characters or in Lucy's own personal life or whatever, then it could have had its own moment in a separate episode where it could have had a real moment to like thrive and be something.
Yeah.
As you said, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I don't think it's ever gonna come back around at any point.
If it does, I'll be surprised.
Very much so. And honestly, I think pleasantly so.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it's just a weird, unnecessary, icky.
Yeah.
That was the right word to use, I think.
Yeah, it is icky.
Thing that happens between these two.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And I think it says more about Lucy than it does about Annie.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Because even Annie's voice gets a little quiet but high pitched.
Yeah, she's like, no.
Because she's trying to, like, you can tell she's trying to gauge where the conversation is going just to make sure she doesn't, like, hurt her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because Annie's last thing on Annie's mind is to offend or to judge or anything. That's not where the conversations came from. The conversation started because Annie was just, like, in a moment of, like, oh, my God, my little baby's going on her first date. Like, wow, you know? And then all of a sudden it just became something that didn't have to be.
I know.
You know? I don't know. It would be interesting to see if this comes back to rear its head later on. Who knows?
We'll see.
I mean, it probably won't.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking on our part, but we'll see.
Oh, the show knows how to hit the hard topics.
By which we mean skate past them.
Yeah. Always.
So that leaves us with the quintessential moment between Martin and Mac.
I know. And Mac and Ruthie.
Oh my God.
It's the exact same scene, just in reverse. It's the exact same scene in reverse.
But also uglier and dirtier because Martin's in on it the whole time. When that door opens and he was standing there listening to everything as if he orchestrated it, I lost my shit.
Yeah, because let's talk about Mac and Martin talking.
Yes, let's dive into that.
Yeah.
So I almost just want to play it. It's just it's a long clip, though.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
So listeners, feel free to fast forward through it.
You don't have any weird ideas like actually dating Ruthie sometime in the future, do you?
Of course not. Maybe. You know, if we were to go to the same college in a few years, and if she were a freshman in college and I was a junior. You know, maybe.
No, just don't even think about it.
Why not?
Because I know you, that's why not.
You're saying I'm not good enough to go out with Ruthie?
It's not a matter of not being good enough. She's just young and innocent and sweet and...
You're not thinking about dating her in the future, are you?
No, I'm not. She's like a sister to me. You even said she's like a sister to you, remember? When you introduced her to those girls, you said Ruthie was like a younger sister. You can't date your sister.
Are you trying to convince me or yourself?
I would never date Ruthie.
If you never lived with the Camdens and you just met her, would you ask her out?
No, she's a nice girl, she's really cute, and I like her, but I can't even think of her in terms of dating.
I can't either. Except for maybe in a few years. Like I said, girls grow up. And that includes Ruthie.
Well, let's just make sure she doesn't grow up too fast.
Oof, magoof. What just happened?
I know. I couldn't believe the conversations went there.
So intense. And it's like, first of all, it's all text. Like there's no subtext at all between these two. It's all laid out on the line for us.
Yeah.
Like when Max says, "Are you sure you're trying to convince me or yourself?" I mean, I literally, as Martin is like protesting, I'm like, "You're just convincing yourself." And then Max said it. I was like, oh my God. Like literally, like it's all out there now.
Yeah.
Completely. Mm-hmm. It's insane and also awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
But Mac, ew.
I mean, yeah. But he's right, I think. I mean, I don't love the part about how, like, girls grow up. Like, ew.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, why wouldn't she be a viable partner for him in the future?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, Martin.
And definitely, why not? Because Martin's into her. Like, hello, wake up and smell the Ruthie. Like, you know, like, Martin, you're so fucking delusional.
Yeah.
Like, you've spent the last like 2 years or whatever trying to tell yourself that she's your sister, that now you have to like undo that brainwashing of yourself.
Yeah.
And you're trying to like put that shit on Mac. Like, why? Just because she had a crush on Mac first? Like, oh,
Serious.
you jealous much, Martin? Like,
yeah. And then in that entire time while they're talking in Martin's apartment now,
right?
All I was thinking, please don't betray her. Please don't betray her trust by her confiding in you that
It's too late. He had already done it before that point.
I know. I was hoping that he didn't, or he wasn't going to. And then when they're in the kitchen, her and Mac offers her water from her own fucking fridge.
It's legit exactly the same scene.
Exactly. She's
However
watching
many
him.
episodes ago. Oh my
Instead
God.
of him watching her, she's watching him.
Honestly, this is like, mark this day on the calendars. This might be my favorite Seventh Heaven moment of 8.5 seasons.
Because they actually did something.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I see you call backing to the scene, making me feel the same feelings, but in reverse. Like, I get this on a television making level.
Yeah, and how Max seems like he's like looking at her and she's like, I don't give a shit, I'm about to go on a date. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's but then and then it fucking, the door opens and Martin's standing there and it's like, God damn it.
Well, the door
Martin.
opens because Ruthie goes and opens the door.
Well, yeah. But it's like, oh, like, God damn it. Like, really? You sent Mac in?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Really?
But man, like, kudos to her for not being fazed by it.
I know.
Really.
I know. It's such a, from her end of it, like, it's a power play. Like,
oh, yeah.
Or rather, power move, I guess. Like, because she tells Max, she's like, what do you know?
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, what do you know?
And Mac's like, what? And then she runs to tell Martin, like, what the fuck did you do, dude? And she didn't even have to say it. He knows what he did.
Yeah.
You know? And then I mean, in that same breath, she regains her composure and is like, whatever, man. I have a date with a guy I actually like right now.
Yeah.
So like, y'all can go be best friends in your little apartment and do what the fuck, whatever you want to do, and be jealous as fuck because y'all know you are.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go make out with this boy that I like.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, dude. There's so, I mean, like, that whole Martin and Mac, oh my God. I'm like, I have chills thinking about it. Like, it's so, I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it so much. In that like really shitty like drama way where you're like, ooh, drama. Like, obviously. Because nothing about it is like amazing or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just love that like all this shit's coming out, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we are really setting up like a real decent back half of the season. Like, I'm interested.
Watch yourself.
Okay, I know I should be careful.
I'm
but,
like, watch yourself.
I know, but still though, like, I'm like cautiously optimistic that by the end of the season, some shit's gonna go down with Ruthie and Martin.
Okay. I'm in for it. I welcome it. I want to see something.
I can feel it in my bones, man.
I feel it in my fingers.
Shit, fuck, wanker, whatever all the
Fucking
curses he says. Yeah.
Yep.
Oof. So much fun. Is that gonna do it for us?
I think so.
I feel like we talked about everything that needed to be talked
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so let's rate it.
Oh, like I have some like hate, but got some great love for this. Thumb up, thumb down, thumb up and thumb down, because there's a lot of things that bothered me, but it was fucking entertaining.
Yes.
It was entertaining.
Yes.
It was an entertaining episode.
God
it
damn
wasn't
it.
bad. There was a lot of back and forth conversations, which kind of got annoying, but also just made you go, okay, now what's going to happen? Who's going to say this? Oh, shit, Martin. Yeah. So it's not bad.
Like, so much problematic stuff,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
as we've talked about. But at the same time, you hit the nail on the head perfectly. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
Which, like, God help us. Like, that's all we've ever wanted from this stupid
I
fucking
know.
show.
I
Like,
know.
like, you know, all we ever wanted is just to, like, not hate
Yeah.
it when you turn it off, you know?
I think, like, again, man, Seventh Heaven just has a handful of those entertaining episodes.
Seriously, like, maybe one a season if you're lucky.
I know.
If you're lucky. yeah, no, I have to give this one thumb up, one thumb down as well, because
There you go.
and especially because it ends on such a high note.
Yeah, it does.
It ends so beautifully.
Yeah.
And with Ruthie just in her little bubble of like
Joy.
love and joy and happiness. And you're just like, yes, all the things for you. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I vacillate so much about Ruthie, because on the one hand, all this, like, I love her. I love who she is. I love what she stands for as a character and in her own character, whatever. Like all that stuff. Like, I really respect Ruthie, you know? And then at the same time, like, then she'll go and do something stupid probably in the next season or the next episode where I'm just like, what? Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, but this episode having been completely focused on her, she owned it. She crushed it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as one thumb.
Yeah, as much as one thumb.
One thumb is worth of love.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Let's see what unfolds.
Oh my God. So this is what, 14? So that gives us 8 episodes? 8 episodes, I think.
Whoa.
I know.
Wow. All right.
Home stretch, man.
Already?
I know. It's crazy.
It's freaking me out, man.
These seasons are just like whipping past us.
I'm freaking out, man. All right.
Okay, well, the season might almost be over, but right now, this episode's about to be over. Yeah. But before it is, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us at the number 4 Heaven's Sake Pod on all the social medias, or send us an email at forheavensakeshow@gmail.com. In fact, I would say if anybody of our listeners has maybe had a similar first date experience with like family involvement and stuff and like wants to tell us that story, like we're here for it, because as we said, neither Tina or I have experienced this in our own lives. So it would be fun to like get you guys the stories about that stuff. Meanwhile, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/4 Heaven's Sake Pod. And that's where you can subscribe, become an honorary Heaven Head, and get access to 2 bonus episodes a month of live commentary on movies that T has seen that I have not. We just wrapped up our October Halloween month series. Yeah. And we did a couple of like fun ones that I feel like listeners are going to be shocked that I had never seen. like when I tell people that there's a lot of movies I haven't seen, I feel like these 2 are ones that like shock people. They're like, what the fuck do you mean? So head on over to patreon.com/4 Heaven's Sake Pod. That's the number 4 Heaven's Sake Pod, where you can see all that stuff. And when you subscribe, all the back catalog is available to you too. And that's like 13 movies at this point, you guys. It's a lot.
Yeah. We did quite a lot.
Yeah. So do all those things. And until next time, bye.
See you later.